It has been a volatile year when you look at the natural gas prices, and even as the US prices have softened from those kind of highs, the concerns really continue for Europe.
Absolutely, Manisha, and that's been very evident. First off, you're creating nearly a perfect storm. You're coming deep into a European winter. We've got the issues as far as the French nuclear power plants shutting down, and you've got increasing demand through that winter period and the issues facing from Nord Stream 2 and certain other impacts across that whole, Russian basin feeding into Europe and the UK, Manisha.
Absolutely. And it's not just about those supplies concerns there. I mean, there are, the Russia and Ukraine tensions and Belarus saying that they would, threatening on the gas supplies there. And then it's also been about outages in France nuclear plants. There are wind power production in Germany, which has declined to a 5-week lows. So everywhere that you see, there are reasons for the natural gas prices to trade higher.
Well, exactly right. You know as well as I do that wind power, and when you're looking at nuclear that's been shut down, then that really creates it's going to create a big disruption, I think, leading into January and February, and that's traditionally when Europe's far colder than what December lows are. So there creates, I think, a lot of, you'll be noticing as far as price and where we go as far as demand. So I wouldn't be surprised to see prices ratchet up from here, and we're already at record highs. So it looks as though that perfect storm that we spoke about mid-year, as far as what we anticipate early 22 with energy and natural gas, and where we go from there across that whole Euro basin and leading into the UK, I think there's going to be further issues, and really will be a major concern how to heat your home.
And how are you also looking at the Russia story? Because there are reports on how the gas flow through the Yamal and Europe pipeline seems to be reversing. I mean, this is as weird as it gets. But as I said, every single news is pointing towards higher prices. You talked about strong winter demand going forward as well. So with the kind of demand that we're looking at, are the supplies currently enough? I mean, there are another 2 to 3 months that you will be looking at this demand.
Exactly right. I mean, put your mind back to February, what we experienced in that freak storm that rolled through Texas. So these are the impacts. When you're looking at alternatives, you're looking at wind power in Germany, you're looking at the nuclear power plants and the issues there in France, and you've got a long winter planned for Europe, then these are really conditions that are not going to bode well. Then you've got the likes of Omicron and COVID with a winter, and that certainly is not a good sign for anyone with flu or influenza sort of conditions, Manisha. So this is not a good situation, and that's certainly going to impact not only economically, but I would say pretty much socially across that whole, January, February period.
Absolutely. Whether it's about energy transition or transportation or fertilizers for that matter, the gas prices will filter down to all of those commodities as well. Before we let you go, Peter, what's your sense also on the crude oil prices? Natural gas is going to stay higher, but crude oil, it seems to be now getting stuck in a range.
Well, it's whipsawing, Manisha. We love movement. All we're after is going up and down. So where we go from here, I'm looking at the screen. I think I wouldn't be surprised to see continuing whipsaw. It's a trader's delight. We're having big swings of $2 and $3 in a trading range, and I think it's going to be range bound. I'm looking, run from high 60s to mid 70s, but we've got to keep an eye on what goes on as far as this issue with Russian gas leading into Europe. So that could be a dramatic push forward as far as increase of crude prices.